Well, we're all back once again. It's a nice little Friday morning here. Things seem to be quite boring, but Bitcoin's moving multiple thousands of dollars even in this intraday process that we already have right now. I mean, shit, Bitcoin's come all the way down from what, like 92, 93, all the way to 89.5, and I don't think it's going to be stopping there, or at least not for the more medium term, let's say. Bitcoin more or less caught in that holding pattern in the lower term timeframes, and while I do think that Bitcoin still has a move higher in the month of December, ultimately the short term coming back down and fulfilling our question from yesterday's video, which was, do we see an upside breakout first or a downside move first? And it looks like downside move is going to be the more likely thing to be happening, as Bitcoin once again rejects that $94,000 number. Many things to be speaking about today, but not necessarily in Bitcoin land, more or less in traditional market land, which has been significantly more interesting, especially as of late. But I want to say hello to all of the familiar faces in here. What's up, Mr. Cave Caretaker? Fuck yeah, man. Good to see you. Good chatting with you as always. Sequoia, I enjoyed reading your comments earlier this morning. Very, very, very appropriate, I will say as as well. What's up, Bear Nutrition? Who else we got? Ondo Poncho, Tonius, Nexus Signals. Nexus Signals, what the fuck is that, man? Near filling. Oh, we're talking about some actual shit coins to start this one off. He even gives a trading view link. Oh my God, I can't wait to look at fucking Near Protocol from 2021. Who could think? Who could think what happens next? God, man, holy shit. A blast from the past, and Andreas Herotu as well. Myth the Bull already posting some shit coins to look at. Oh my God, my voice is not ready for today. Foo, please. Good morning to you as well, man. Who else we got, man? Monstru. I feel like I'm operating on second gear right now. I feel like I need my caffeine fix. My caffeine fix needs to come back. I think after the stream, I'm gonna go back and start buying some of that cold brews.
Wait,
I've been
was I supposed to do that?
ban who?
The one that you just were talking about.
Oh no, you don't have to ban them. It's just like it's just redacted. I mean, like you don't have to ban them. It's just like, why do you fucking Near Protocol? What are you like? It really truly amazes me. It really truly amazes me that there are still people out there in the world who are actually believing in their failed crypto shitcoins from even one cycle ago. Not even this cycle, but one cycle ago. It's just like, I guess there will always be someone. There will always be someone who actually believes in these things, who will actually buy these things, who actually believes the the hopium, I guess, promoted by, whoever the fuck is promoting it. Crazy, man. Absolutely fucking crazy. Can we get married, brother? Well, I'm already married, but I guess if you can get married to a man while also simultaneously being married to a woman, I guess we could try. But if there's a tax credit for that, man, because one of the best things about being married, I'll tell you this right now, Elsa is the cutest tax benefit I've ever met in my life. It's amazing. I fucking love it, man. I fucking love it. Get married, get better taxes. It's incredible how the system works. That's how you perpetuate the fucking family, huh? Anyways, so you're saying BitConnect no all-time high this cycle. No, don't be bearish, man. That's just there to confuse the whale lizards. What we really mean to say is that, hey, go all in on fucking BitConnect, leverage your fucking longs on BitConnect, and then take out some goddamn loans and leverage those. That's how you get rich in BitConnect. That's right. God, man, I forgot that BitConnect even existed. That was a crazy thing. You know what the even crazier thing is? When Hex first started, one of the main people who went over to Hex was the BitConnect people. I remember there was this guy in our Discord who was like, he was fucking gung-ho with Hex, man. This guy was fucking, he should have changed his username to like Hex Lover 69 420 Warrior all Hex Best. And I love Richard Hart, like with the heart emoticon after it as well. And some rocket emojis too. That would have been his appropriate username. But I later learned, which I guess wasn't such a surprise, that he was also like one of the higher ups in BitConnect. Like he was actually at the conference where Carlos Matos, was it Carlos Matos? I think that was his name. The BitConnect guy, the what's up BitConnect? This fucking guy. That shit, man. Anyways, I am proud to announce our internet is working, and it's working very, very well. We got the fiber Cox, baby. I'm deep throating that Cox right now, and we got some good upload speeds, and it's about to get even better because I just ordered a massive Ethernet cable that is going to bring the Ethernet directly to my major machine over here. Should be getting close to like 800 upload and download, which I'm very, very, very excited about. Maybe even some gaming streams coming up in the not so distant future too. What is Elsa banning over here? I actually want to see these deleted messages. Yes, of course we have. Oh, that is an actual scam message. Wow. How are the scam messages? How are the scam bots getting on the live streams? That's not something that usually happens. It's usually just on the regular video upload, so just as like a regular comment, not on the actual live stream commentary. Yeah, man. The Carlos Matos. Yeah, Carlos Matos. That was a guy. That guy is forever immortalized in the crypto sphere. Although I did forget him for just one moment there, for just one moment. But yeah, man, absolutely insane. Like, I remember that they were advertising on YouTube. BitConnect was advertising on YouTube, and these people would be showing, pretty big amounts of money in their Bitcoin wallet. There was this one guy who's a black guy. I think he was like from the Caribbean or something like that. At least he had that sort of an accent. He'd be like, "This is my Bitcoins wallet, and I did not buy these Bitcoins. I earned them. I did not buy." It's like he's very, 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 very much hammering in that point. And I don't know, he was showing like 20 Bitcoins in that wallet. Quite nice. coins. But it turns out BitConnect's actually not legit. Crazy idea. I guess it's no more crazy than most of these shitcoins, to be honest, man. It really is no more crazy than most of these shitcoins, at least in my opinion. I understand that many people would disagree with me out there. By all means, just take my opinion with a grain of salt and continue to buy your favorite altcoins. It's definitely the 0.00001% of shitcoins that are, altcoins that are definitely going to be massively valuable in the future. Not right now, just in the future, okay? They're still figuring that out. I'm sure that they got great partnerships with banks and all these sort of things. That's how it goes, man. It's just secret right now. But somehow you found out through a Reddit post. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing what's out there. Luckily, the lizard did not censor the Reddit post. Thank God for that, man. Oh, fuck, man. I'm so lucky to have read that. God. And my Q post too. God damn, man. I watched a Q documentary. It was great. I've actually met some Q people as well. They are great. It's really, really fun to talk to them because it's probably not true, but it sounds like a movie. So it's a great story. Yeah, and Trayvon James. And didn't Trayvon James or Trevon James, I forget his actual name. It's something like that. Didn't he also get involved in Hex or Pulse Chain or whatever the fuck as well? I think you're speaking to the army under your breath, the XRP army. I mean, of course, that's a cult as well, but at least their cult has worked out significantly better. I mean, shit, let's compare cults. Let's compare cults right now. Let's do the XRP cult versus the Hex cult. Who is winning this battle right now? Choose your fighter. I mean, obviously, it's going to be XRP.
What was within the 10 most Googled things
What?
in Finland?
Guess what was in the 10 most Googled things in Finland? Probably how to rape white girls or some shit like that. XRP, actually. Close, though. Very, very close. Same type of person. Anyways, sorry. That was a terrible joke to make, but I will say it's not a joke because it's true. It's literally true. I lived there. But yeah, looking at XRP versus Hex, it's been on a steady downtrend. Wait, this can't be right. This can't be right. This can't be right. That's not the right Hex. Yeah, it's literally going off of Hex Technologies, an actual company on fucking NASDAQ. Okay, that was not a fair comparison. Yeah, it's on London, it's actually on London Stock Exchange right there. That would not be the one that I'm looking for, but let's go look at them right now, just respectively. Maybe things have changed around. Who knows? You never know until you actually look. Looks like things have not changed around, unfortunately. A downtrend remains in place ever since the highs in 2021. Crazy ideas. Very big surprise right there. XRP, on the other hand, it has been mostly trendless and sideways over the past, 10 or 5 years or so. At least in the more recent times, it has had some upside moves, and it has been a net gain. I mean, if you bought at the actual high in 2017, well, I guess you'd be at a slight loss right now, not a slight loss. You'd be at about a 60 or 70% loss right now, but not as bad. At least it's not a 99% loss. That is better. That is definitely better. There is no joke to the irreverent. That is very fucking true, man. That is very fucking true. JB Hulk Smash says that is literally true. It might well be. Some say it is so. What's up, Mr. Van Duysen? I saw the great news yesterday. Total War is going to be releasing Medieval 3, or at least they're working on it, but that's not coming for another few years, unfortunately. Let's go take a look at some traditional marks here. Let's see what gold's doing, actually, to start this one off. Still hanging around 4,200. I still am going to cheap out and say I still think that this is going to come back down to the range low, but overall it is bullish. This is very hard to ignore, but if it comes back down to like $4,000, I think I'm going to be forced to buy it, actually. So I think my LARP line over here probably not going to be accurate. I think what's more likely to happen at this point is we do see a pullback, but just not that low, puts another higher low, and then it goes for a real breakout. I mean, this one's hard to really ignore at this point. I mean, for fuck's sake, that monthly and quarterly are looking pretty damn strong. And of course, the yearly, which is on the verge of closing, or very, very close to it at least. I mean, yeah, we might get pullbacks here, but that's one massive girthy fucking breakout. Holy shit. On top of that, let's go check out some traditional market indices here. Of course, SPY futures. Looking at the yearly too, I mean, that one's hard to hate. It's hard not to see this and say, I think 2026 is going to make some new highs. Even the weekly right here, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see new highs in December. We got our pullback exactly to that 5 EMA on the weekly, and so far it's been, well, a perfect sort of bouncing point. So I look at that as a trend in motion with our next higher low, our most recent higher low at the 21 EMA. I mean, this is fucking textbook stuff. After what was like, a 5 or 6% correction So that's okay on low volatility as well. We'll go over a little bit more of this in detail, of course, on Sunday's video. I want to keep up with this tradition of Sunday traditional market videos because, like I said, I need to do the work for myself as well. NASDAQ, even more compelling in my opinion. This one had a bigger pullback, around about 10%, a little bit under 10%, I should say. But this one, again, correcting to that yellow 21 EMA, using that red 5 EMA right now as a bit of a basing point for this week's low. So overall, this is good. I don't necessarily think it's going to break out exactly from here. This one's a little bit weaker in comparison to SPY futures, but I do expect that they will move kind of in lockstep. Does it pull back in the short term and then complete its move back up to those prior highs of 26,250 to 26,350 or 400? Probably yes. There was a falling channel right here, which actually did break out to the upside recently. I believe we call this one out. This was like in November, I believe. Yeah, this was late November. That actually does have a measure move a little bit higher than what it's already gotten right now. As of right now, today's high is 25,868, and that measured move is around about 26,040 bucks or so. So it's like, do you get a wick up there, then pull back a little bit, then complete the move? Does it pull back first and then just, I guess, bulldoze through that move? I mean, it's probably going to stop at that measured move if that happens first. So, a bit of a game right there, but ultimately it's still kind of leading the same destination if you're on the medium and higher term time frames. It's up and away. I mean, it's really not that complicated in this particular case. Go check out the 3-week time frame as well, because this one's going to be closing, I believe, today. Oh, and also the 2-week time frame as well. I didn't even realize this. Yeah, looking at the 2-week time frame or the biweekly time frame, I mean, again, this is good. This is overall very, 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 very good. I would not be at all surprised to see new all-time highs in this month of December. I think the 3-week time frame should be a little bit more revealing. Yeah, this one also quite good as well. Going to be closing today. Again, just can't really be looking for any sort of a major pullback, especially as long as you're above that red 5 EMA. That's sort of my trending EMA. And you can see that this thing loves to reconnect with it on these sort of crawling moves to the upside. And when you look at traditional markets for long enough and you start to like fry your brain, you just realize that as long as you're above there, just let it fucking do its thing, man. Just let it fucking do its thing and get out of its way. Try not to be a hero. Try not to be crazy. And if you're a long-term investor, just hold. Say what? I will pin your message. I will pin Elsa's message. And then also I should let you know, I completely forgot. I completely biffed on this right at the beginning of the stream. But yes, we do still have our Black Friday sale going on, or actually I guess it's our Cyber Monday sale going on. But it's ending today. It's literally ending today. The code is blacked in all capitals and then the number is 20. Again, blacked in all capitals and then 20, or blacked 20 in other words. Yeah, perhaps we'll mention that again a little bit later when perhaps more people come in. But yeah, today is the last day for that. So as always, if you're interested, check it out in the link description below for Teachable. Anyways, what else do you want to check out in traditional markets? I feel like there are more things to be aware of. I just want to see the 3-week for SPY as well. Again, I mean, I look at this as really fucking good, like really fucking good. Yeah. I mean, shit, man. If this month even just trades above last month's high of 69.09 and a half, like, just up, man. Just fucking up. Just let it go up. Just let it go up. Just let it do what it does, which is go up, which is just fucking go up. Again, if you're a long-term investor, I'll tell you what I did. I bought a little bit on last week's pullback, not at the exact low, but on last week's pullback. And I'll continue to DCA weekly at a very small amount. That just seems to be the best way to handle these things for long-term investments, wealth building, more or less just, protecting your purchasing power at the very, very least. What's up, Mr. Matthew Smead? I see you over there. BitConnect indeed. He's also my favorite. Hexer as well. Medieval Total War is the GOAT along with Rome. So spin kick. Yeah, man. It actually literally in the past 4 months, I probably played 4 to 5 hours a day of Total War Medieval 2, but the third age mod on it. It's so good, man. It's so fucking good. Like the amount of love and detail that's put into this mod is just insane. It's way more than most modern games. It's absolutely incredible. It's so impressive and it's so immersive. Like I can't get enough of it, man. But unfortunately, I've been so busy setting up my new place right now that I just haven't had time to play video games. But I think what I'm going to do once I actually do have some time, is maybe play some Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know. That game is calling me, man. It's calling me right now. And let's see what else we got over here. Maybe Triple Qs is worth a quick look. Triple week closure incoming as well. This one's going to potentially close above the prior open. Just an overall good sign there as well. I mean, if we do see a pullback to 610, I would just be looking for a low there because ultimately this thing is very much poised to make new all-time highs. I think this might even happen in December, if not at the beginning of 2026. What are you saying, Elsa? What is the issue over there?
I'm trying to find the mini.
Oh, you're trying to find the mini. Elsa is very much looking for a Minnie Mouse massive animatronics to implant in our backyard. Just fucking great idea. Sings songs as well. Beautiful, just fucking beautiful. Anyways, other than that, I think that's pretty much. Or let's actually look at the 3-week time frame for gold. Yeah, that is objectively bullish. That is objectively bullish. So if it does pull back to kind of the area that I outlined a little bit earlier, maybe back down around like 4,100 or so, I look at that as an opportunity. I don't personally think it's ready to break out right here, but I'd be very happy to be wrong. I know Powder Bro is going to be looking at this as a cup and handle, and to be fair, it actually is. It actually is. Anyways, go check out some Bitcoin action over here. Let me take a sip of this water first, and then we'll get directly into that action. Milkers, you want to talk about milkers? I like milkers. Milkers are good. Milkers very, very good. Everyone loves milkers. Do they celebrate Xmas and Christmas? Do they celebrate Christmas in Finland? Wow, my dyslexia really is coming out strong today. Yeah, they do, even though they are heathens and pagans, but yeah, they do. Anyways, looking at Bitcoin daily price action statistics, we can see what? We can see Friday is already blowing through the average loss that we would expect on a losing Friday. And I do think that today will be a down close day. I did, however, see that there was an intra-day bounce exactly at that number, which was about 88, or let me see exactly what it was. Hold on. It was 90,450. Let's go back to it over here. 90,450. Yeah, there was a bit of a bounce over here. 90,400 all the way up to this wick high over here at 91,500 almost. Again, while we have been seeing a lot of $1,000 moves based upon these tests of these areas of interest, that is a little bit outside of what I'm comfortable promoting for using this as a scalping indicator. Typically, I like to say $300 to $500 on an intrabar play, and that's what I see as very, very, very high probability. I almost never see these fail. Yes, I've seen maybe one in the past like few months fail like that, but that was on an extreme move. That will happen. Nothing's going to be perfect, obviously, but shit, man, these $1,000 plays that we've seen recently, especially the multi-$1,000 plays, it's great when it happens, but I would say don't get used to it. That's not what always happens. That's certainly not what always happens. But if there is one thing that I could say, it's to avoid the plays when they are contra to the daily trend. So right now the daily trend is to the downside. So I would say if you are going to play the bottom side bounces off of these average loss areas, then I would not get too cute with getting trying to get really, really big returns on those. For the upside tests, yeah, you could probably be a little more aggressive with those. With the downside tests, I'd say $300 to $500. That's what's going to be super, 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 super high probability. To the upside, yeah, you can get a little bit more greedy there if you really desire, but still, I like to play things really, really clean with this, and again, that is up to you, however you want to do it. But ultimately, there is that edge there, and you did see it once again today. Anyways, moving on from there, let me get my notes out over here. I completely put them away. My bad. Hold on. There we go. Okay, got it. Once again, yeah. Let's go down to the lower term timeframes for Bitcoin. I guess it's not as relevant right now, but I had marked them off over here on the 6 hour for CME. We could actually just go to spot price action and do the same thing because it pretty much is the exact same structure, in fact. But basically, what I see this as, especially with this current morning's rejection, or I guess yesterday's rejection and today's follow through, is that Bitcoin is more or less playing out this range. Range highs are 93,800 on the upside, and range lows are basically these rising bottoms that we've seen from the late November dump to to about 80,500, and then the more recent one on the 1st of December at 83,850 or so, and that does create the potential for what would be a reaccumulation formation in the shape of an ascending triangle. And that would imply that, yeah, we probably do get a test to the bottom side of that ascending triangle at some point. I don't know exactly when that happens. I'd imagine over the, within this next week of period, like it's not going to take that long, maybe in the next few days. But that would be, somewhere around about $86,000. So if you do see Bitcoin down around there, probably would be looking for a bounce on that next pass. And if Bitcoin can hold this, I do still think that it correlates really, 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 really well with the high likelihood of a Bitcoin bounce into the deep 90s at some point, probably later in December. Because as long as Bitcoin's kind of caught within this formation right here, I mean, there's no real upside breakout, obviously. But now we have a pretty easy way to be defining if Bitcoin is going to have that fall through to the upside on an actionable break, and that would be just a closure above 93,800 or so here. You could use this on a 4-hour as well. I think that this is actually appropriate. The 4-hour 200 simple moving average is about to come in line with that as well. So I imagine that probably happens sometime this weekend or at latest like Monday, Tuesday or so. So once it starts to wedge itself into there, we do actually have a technical formation. And if Bitcoin does break out to the upside, there is an implied move to be made. And if I could actually do it properly right here, I will do my best to do that. But if Bitcoin does break above 93,800, that actually does give us a technical target into the low $100,000 territory. We could actually apply the same thing to the downside as well if Bitcoin does break to the downside. And here, that would be pointed towards new lows at $76,000. Is that possible? Sure, but I'll explain why I do think that is less probable. Many of the reasons we went over in yesterday's video, obviously, but there are a few more that we could go into today's video and just kind of correlate the whole picture, because I do think that this does build up rather well. But hey, if Bitcoin breaks to the downside, it breaks to the downside. I still don't think that, I do think that Bitcoin at some point will break to the downside, but not in December, or at least not without trying a rally at some point in December 1st, above these current highs. If I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong on that. But ultimately, here are the reasons why I am, hold on, just getting fucking messages from my HOA. God damn it, man, fucking homos. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that, okay? It's not how I meant it. I call them the Homeowners Association, okay? Homeowners, not homos. Homeowners. Homeowners Association. Homos. Ners. Homeowners. Understand? Anyways, moving on from there. A bit of it is, of course, based off of the 5-day HPDR setup over here. We spoke about this on CME yesterday. Spot price action has the same thing as well. And I just want to bring it up right now because spot is actually going to be closing this 5-day time frame tomorrow for Saturday. So when Saturday does close, this one will update, and that median still is a likely target on a bounce. And that's going to very likely come down significantly. I mean, I think it's going to come down to very low 100s, maybe even below $100,000. But here is a setup. Anytime that we see the price action get very far away from the median on the HPDR indicator, and it gets, well below at least a 50% of historic returns range lows or above, but in this case, obviously it's below. At that point, we can go ahead and look for a mean reversion play when volatility starts to contract. Volatility is represented by the BBWP indicator right here, and it has started to get a downward slope and is below the moving average as well. So I look at this as likely to confirm again on tomorrow's closure. And at that point, that would set in the highly probable scenario in which we do not see a closure below the November lows, or whatever the low was on this current move to the downside, before reconnecting with the median. That does mean that could also include that we do see a wick below that low. It is possible to get a wick below that low, just no closures below that low before, of course, reconnecting with the median over here. Again, the median right now is 115,500. It's undoubtedly going to adjust significantly to the downside on this next period. So we'll know that on Saturday. But until then, I just tentatively say somewhere around $100,000, give or take. And of course, that would be implying that, it gets hit on the next period, because after that period, it's going to update again. It's probably going to come down again. So we shall see. These things are kind of hard to predict because of the way that the calculations are. But that's kind of what I have in my mind right now. And that does correlate again well with the other things that we're about to go over. One of them is just going to be a very simple thing like this, going over the monthly 5 EMA reconnect, which happens nearly every month, and in this case, we have not seen the monthly time frame reconnect officially with that red moving average. The red moving average is a 5 EMA, and again, the idea here that we're looking at is just anytime Bitcoin opens up a new monthly, at some point during that month, you almost always see a reconnect with that red moving average. And when you don't see a reconnect with the red moving average, what typically happens is Bitcoin will go sideways, not really doing anything until it does reconnect. So you can see an example over here. It disconnects on this particular closure, but it basically spends the next month, first it kind of comes down to reconnect with it and then rallies, and then it comes back down to like officially test it. This is typically the way that it does happen. And right now, that 5 EMA is about $98,000. Obviously, if Bitcoin rallies, that number will go up a little bit as well. So let's just say somewhere between like 97 to 103, something like that is like a good range of probabilities to fulfill that test as well. Now, it is possible that that test won't happen in December. It is possible that it might take one more month, but that is a maximum thing. It's almost always within 2 months if 1 month does not reconnect. So in this case, I would say that that's January at latest, but I don't think it'd be January. I think January would be kind of a more scary time, to be honest with you, if anything. And December is more likely to try a rally here. Anyways, on top of this all, and probably the most important thing is, of course, the moons, the old moons right here, which did fire off officially on last night's closure. So the opening price on that is $92,000. And again, when we look at this, we don't really care about the actual moons, or I mean, maybe some people do. But what I really care about is the average returns on winning trades and losing trades, and that is 13.25% and 8 and 14% respectively. And now that we do have that open, we can actually directly measure exactly from that portion and to the upside. 13% would put you where? 104.5, which is kind of within the same sort of area that we were looking at earlier based off of the implied move over here. If it does break out to the upside, again, that would be at 103,500 or so. And also the HPDR, which tentatively is very likely to come down somewhere around at least, I would say like 103 or 104 on the next tick. So I do like the correlation between these as well. Again, it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen, but what's the word I'm looking for? The confluence is typically a good sign. And of course, the other side, 8% to the downside puts Bitcoin where? That puts Bitcoin basically at around $84,000. I actually don't think it's impossible to see both these numbers hit, honestly, in December. Because Bitcoin does want to play out some short-term downside right here. But let's see if it actually fulfills this trend line test over here, because if it does, that would imply that this actually is going to get played as an ascending triangle, and that actually does add validity to that potential upside breakout target upon actually breaking out. But that would be contingent upon Bitcoin's ability to close above 93,800, which, probably not happening today. Obviously wants to try out some downside today. Anyways, what else do we have? Yeah, so again, just a reiteration, however, on the higher term timeframes, don't get it twisted. My personal views on Bitcoin are that while I do think Bitcoin has a greater bounce at some point in December, I do think it's more than likely to be a bull trap based upon historical signals. Again, you don't have to subscribe to these same beliefs. I can explain why I believe this, and you can decide for yourself if that's relevant for you or not. Of course, you are entitled to your own beliefs, but one of them, and one that I've actually not acknowledged in a while, is that the weekly crown oscillator, which we pointed out, this was way back. Hold on, let me get my line out right here. This was way back in this was way back in early November, that this trend line, which has been holding all of the macro lows throughout this current cycle that began in 2023, was broken, which does indicate that something new is going on. And if something new is going on after, the previous 3 years, which were basically just a straight uptrend, that does imply that a change of behavior would be not an uptrend, which by the process of deduction would be a downtrend. So that, alongside many other things like the monthly MACD and like several other things that we spoke about in yesterday's video, and several from the week prior than that. And I will do a video at some point in this month just documenting all of the major things on the higher term timeframes, that kind of coalesce and agree with each other. I mean, that is basically the RSI, the stochastic, the MACD, the crown oscillator. What else do we have? I mean, just the time in cycles, and a few other things as well, a little bit more, I guess, ephemeral there, perhaps not as tangible as those technical signals. That does make me certainly on edge here that this market is actually going to continue without sort of, a greater correction. Here's what I think could happen, though. What I actually think could happen, what I think would actually be quite healthy to happen is, Bitcoin spends December bouncing or, something like this, then comes down and we see a pretty minimal bear market. I wouldn't even really call it a bear market, but, perhaps Bitcoin comes down and fulfills, a move into like the 60s or the 50s and then spends, half a year grinding out that number again, similar to what we saw in 2024. At that point, I would say that's probably going to be your cycle low, and this thing's going to charge back up to the upside again, because ultimately this sort of lowering of volatility of, for Bitcoin over time results in, again, not, these crazy parabolic blow off tops, but also it should undoubtedly reduce the severity of these nasty bear markets that we've seen in the past. And to be fair, even though the bear markets for Bitcoin have been very, very nasty throughout the history, they have been objectively less nasty from cycle to cycle. So what I mean by that is if we go all the way back to 2011 here, this bear market came down significantly. I mean, this was a almost 94% drawdown, no fucking crash. I mean, can you imagine? That would be Bitcoin going from like 120 all the way down to like 10,000. Maybe even worse than that. Like, I don't think that that's going to happen here. And then even the cycle after that, it was still bad, but it was less. And even like an almost 8% differential here at 86.5%. Like that does amount for like big numbers, when we're talking about Bitcoin at $100,000. If we go to the 2017 one, that was only 84.25. Again, it was significantly less than the prior one. And again, that really does matter. And then of course, the most recent one, we didn't even see an 8 handle. We saw a 7 handle, 77.5%. And again, that was with the black swan in there too. So, even if Bitcoin were to come down, like I said, like 50%. I mean, that's 62. That is about $62,000. 61% puts you at about 49,000. If we go 70%, 37,000. But do I think that we're going to have a worse bear market than the prior ones? Probably not. And I don't know. I don't think that that's so crazy of a thought here. I also think that this next one's probably gonna be shorter as well, just based off of kind of what's going on in the background, fundamentally speaking. But that is a more difficult game to play, and not a game that I really want to get super into, especially on a stream like this. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me on Bitcoin. I'll get over here to the super chats, and we'll get over to the regular chats as well. I think Els has already got a bunch lined up. And again, I want to remind myself to acknowledge that it is our last day for the Black Friday sale. The code is blacked, or do I have it up here? Yeah, blacked in all caps, the number 20, and then it does end today for 20% off of any of the programs or services in the teachable link in the description below. Anyways, Biff the Bull is looking at Rose. Yes, fucking yes. Rose on the daily. I'm sure it's doing great, man. The devs are going to revive this project from the absolute gutter of the crypto shitter, and it's literally at new all-time lows. Or is it actually new all-time lows? It's very, very close. Nope, it's not. It's not. Those October lows are still actually lower, but I do think that it will be testing those yet again soon. Those devs better do something. Do fucking something. Bastard devs. Yesterday, Tom Lee says, Bitcoin has bottomed. Please make sure your dad... Oh, God, man. My dad's actually staying with us right now because they're searching for houses. And we hear it every day. Oh, man. He fucking can't stand them. Yeah, he always sends me like the Tom Lee quote of the day. It's great, man. It's fucking great. Bitcoin chart looks retarded on lower time frames. What do you mean by that, sir? What do you mean by that? I'm genuinely curious. What does that actually mean? Does it just mean it's going down? Yeah, I mean, I think it's got a little more downside in the short term to go. Let's see. LS1 says, can you look at L? Is that Fink or is it L or is it FL? Hold on, FL and C. I think it's this. Yeah, that is an L, not an I. Okay. On the daily and weekly, sure. Yeah, let's check it out here. Daily first, and then we go to weekly. Yeah, real stonks. So it does look somewhat different than your usual crypto shitcoin. Look, I do think that it has more on this rally, and I do like this weekly reversal here, but I do think that you will be spending some time if and when you do get to this region right here. It's probably going to spend some time consolidating. You can see that there are many highs put in. Well, let's actually make this a nice little box. Let's make it a nice little box of, of interest there between about 25.5 to 28.25. I do think that you're going to be spending a lot of time there, but I also simultaneously think that you will see this move get somewhere up to that region. The weekly reversal is real, and I think that the monthly does not have a reversal, but I do expect it to test these highs over here. Price action pivots is disagreeing with me in this case. It is suggesting that this is the most relevant lower high, and I guess it actually is, to be fair. Yeah, it actually is, to be fair. But personally, I do think that you will see a wick up in here and then some sideways. And then this one actually does have a chance to reverse long term. I am front running the monthly and also the quarterly here, but the weekly, this is a reversal on the 200 simple, using that as a basing point for a higher low. That's a good sign usually. And I do see a lot of macro reversals kind of begin with that sort of a signal. So I would say, it might take some time, man, but I do think that this one does have the actual possibility to pull through. If you want to go off of the price action pivots, you'd just be looking at the number 24. And as soon as it closes the monthly above 24, which might happen this month, I mean, it's very possible that it happens this month, then yeah, I'd basically send it back to these highs here, deep 20s. And then you have a real chance to just be a real reversal. And, from there, it's just sideways and up for, years and years. But that can take a long time to really transpire. So I don't know what your actual timeframes are on this are. But if that's going to happen, I'd be expecting like a year timeline sort of thing, something like that, man. And if you're on the daily, which I guess I'm going like way too high term time frame for you, apologies on that because I just read your comment again. Daily time frame, no, I do expect a consolidation right here, so it should slow down around here. And pull back a little bit, try for a higher low, try sideways, and then try for a breakout. So in this very, very short term, don't think it's going to be doing much. I think you've seen the most of this move for now, but maybe like later this month it does try for that breakout, and I do think that will happen actually. Pizza says, "Hey Crown, what's up, man? XRP 4-hour daily and weekly as always. We got the XRP army here, $2. Last time we looked at this one, I forgot what we said. I guess I drew out a LARP line right here, so that kind of helps me re-jog my memory. It still remains in a downtrend, still has lower highs. Just put in another lower high, confirming it yesterday on that. It's not necessarily bearish engulfing, but it's bad enough, closing below the prior day's low on, again, what would be a lower high. So, do I look for this one to retest around the lows from November? Maybe not exactly precisely to those lows, but somewhere between about 195 to 185 region is probably where I'd be looking towards. You're pretty close to it already, to be fair, but yeah, that would imply some more short-term downside. I guess if you're on the 4-hour, that's maybe a little more relevant. And also on the 4-hour time frame, it's actually quite simple here because the 4-hour and the daily and the weekly all have, maybe not the weekly. Let's go to the weekly. The 4-hour and the daily both have the same pivots, and it's basically yesterday's high. Or if you want to be super exact, it would actually be, what would that be? Wednesday's high of 220. Or 222 according to the price action pivots indicator. If you can reclaim that, then yeah, I would be looking for a sizable move up to 240, 250-ish region. I still think that that's likely to happen, but of course, in the short term, as we went over, I believe in the last video on the last live stream on Wednesday, likely to come back down here first, then bounce and try that move. Of course, if I'm wrong and you see this one actually break below 179 or 180, then it's a real breakdown. But similar to Bitcoin, it's like I don't think that that's going to happen exactly from here. I think that you got at least one more bounce in you, and it should fulfill a test somewhere around $2.40 to $2.50. Doesn't really do anything for you on the higher term time frame, so that's kind of why this is problematic here. But ultimately, that would imply it does bounce somewhat decently. I mean, that is like what, a 20% bounce to maybe even a 30% bounce. So yeah. Again, after it does, test this low. So a bit of a complicated picture there. Anyways, Crypto Clivy says, can you take a look at CRWV? Sure, man. Mid and long-term timeframes. So for stocks, for me, that means weekly and monthly timeframes. Monthly, not good. I do think that you probably have a reconnect with the 5 EMA. Maybe not this month, but at some point in December or January, I'd be expecting to move to like 95, 96, maybe even $97. But I think that's going to be the high of your rally. This is objectively a downtrend, and it is a massive failure on the monthly. The weekly is obviously a downturn right here. Got a lower low and a lower high along the way, but right now it is putting in a lower low and it is rallying from that low. So that's a swing low. So what I expect is that it's going to rally up into a lower high, probably around those, mid to upper $90 numbers, and then come back down. Overall, not a big fan of this chart as it stands right now. This just reminds me of like your usual crypto shitcoin chart where it has this one massive girthy fucking green dildo pump straight in my throat, and then it doesn't. It does the opposite. The old Burj Khalifa. Yeah, man, not great in this case. So while I do think it, probably rallies a little bit more at some point in December, it's lower highs the whole way through, man. It's got a long ways to go to switch anything worthwhile around. I mean, fuck, like 150 is your last lower high. Like, that's not being reclaimed anytime soon. That's nearly a 2x move from where you're at right now. This is a stock market. It's not even a crypto shitcoin, so good luck with that. But yeah, move to like maybe 95 or 100, somewhere in that pocket there. I think that that's, likely, but that's also a lower high, unfortunately. Anyways, if you've been around long enough, you know that Tommy just becomes a punching bag during the bear market. It is true, man, but it is also very interesting that, people either forgive or forget very quickly as soon as things turn around. I guess that kind of explains the phenomenon with crypto creators just generally being blindly bullish, no matter what, because even if you're wrong, for a long time, you only need to be right a couple of times, which will happen at some point. And then everyone loves you again. It's crazy, man. It's just, there's something about girthy green dildos that everyone gets super excited about. For me, it's more like red dildos. But anyways, sorry. Great White Hype says, RR Robotics stock on the weekly and monthly. I like robotics. Let's see what this one is. Rich Tech Robotics. Richie Rich Robotics. Does anyone remember that movie? Probably not. Elsa, did you watch the movie Richie Rich? No? Okay, obviously, because Finland doesn't have these sort of things. Yes. Anyways. As far as RR goes, I like the uptrend here, man. It has reversed into an uptrend. You see a nice base. And also, and importantly, an accumulation formation over here as well. See another higher low over here. All of this is good, man. You got hidden bullish divergence on that next higher low. I'm generally looking for this thing to go up and to the right, man. I know you're on the weekly and monthly, but I do want to go to the quarterly. I guess there's not much history here for quarterly, but if we go off the weekly and the monthly, look, I'm bullish on this thing as long as you're above about $3. As long as you're above $3, it's an uptrend. Just let the trend be your friend. Let it do what it's about to do. It's got a great narrative as well. If it's in robotics, as the name would imply, just let it do its thing, man. If it pulled back to $4, I'd look at that as an opportunity, to be honest with you. As long as you're above, and like I said, as long as you're above $3, this is undoubtedly an uptrend and good and very, very good. Nishant Abraham says, be soft like your dick on the daily, please. Yes. How did you know? It's just really cold out here, man. Just really cold. Anyways, be soft. Well, it is a range on the lows. Let's see what the higher term time frame picture looks like. Okay. Another Indian stock that's actually like not bad. Yeah, not only is it not bad, it's actually quite good. I'm not so sure about the short term because it is a range. And technically, this is where it should put in a lower high if it's going to be bearish. So be very mindful that if it rejects here and starts to head back down over the next couple of weeks, back down below like $400, that's going to be a pretty bad sign, honestly. But for right now, long term, it is a good chart. And so I will give it the benefit of the doubt. And I will say that this is, or you could look at this as a range, but it still implies that you must see a closure above the range highs at 452, the price action pivot here, to confirm well, in this case, this would be the next macro low if that happens. Monthly does look okay. You do have hidden bullish divergence on this low. I think that it will end up being a macro higher low. To be honest with you, I actually do think, even though you offended my penis, sir. Okay, it's not that soft. All right, it's not that soft. But if I'm being super honest, yes. Or sorry, if I'm being super technical, because all of this has been honest, but if I'm being super technical, this is kind of where you do expect a lower high. It's just, I'm looking at the long-term history and I'm looking at the monthly signals as well. These are the signals that you would expect on a higher low. So this is exactly how the last low bottomed as well. So I think it's very, very likely to break out to the upside. But if you want to be super technical, like I said earlier, need to see a weekly closure above 452. And at that point, this thing's, it's probably just up and away, probably back to $600 and more. That'd be pretty good, man. Chris Bellis is Rivian, please. Any take profit levels to watch? Well, I have no idea about your positions. I have no idea about your trading, plan. I have no idea about your strategy, about your preferences, about any of these things. So I don't fucking know. Are you looking to hold this for like the next 10 years? I probably wouldn't be taking profit here. If you were in a trade that you bought, somewhere down around like $14-15 and you're up around the 200 simple on the monthly, on the weekly, then yeah, I'd be taking some profit. It completely depends, man. It completely depends. There's no way I can give you, an objectively good answer to that. And also it's fucking financial advice for fuck's sake. But yeah, overall, honestly, I think that this thing is about to enter into a real uptrend here. Personally, shit, man, if the monthly closes anywhere here or higher, I think that this rally gets really going into the $20 numbers. So it completely depends. Like if you're in it for just a trade, then, I'd be taking profit here. You're at your prior high, like take the fucking money when it's in your hand. But if you're in it for the long term, then I think that there's a good chance that this thing's going to be headed higher, to be honest with you. Mr. Juan is back. He's looking at FNLC. Okay, FNLC, need entry again. It's like, what time frame? Well, I guess he did give some time frames daily and weekly there. The other question is, do you really even want to enter into something like this? But yeah, it's not terrible. It could be a lot better, to be fair. I mean, shit, still been down only since 2022, so that's not a great sign. But it is putting in a low here. I mean, this is a rounded bottom, so that is a good objective signal. Again, if you're on the weekly or the monthly, it all depends. It's not just about your entry, man. Like you can't just think in terms of entry. It's not just entry. It's risk management and also your take profit. I think entering in here is fine if you're okay with having a stop loss at this week's low, because below there, this thing's reversing, and I'd be looking for it to come back down to these, these lows that we've seen over the past couple of years. But in my opinion, I think that this thing's actually pretty mature and ready to break out. Weekly RSI is pretty conducive to that. I mean, you got hit a bullish evidence on that last low, already back around the 200 simple, and I'm not seeing any signs of like like exhaustion or anything like that. Just want to see a closure above the 200 simple, and then I think that this thing rallies up to fucking $30 plus. I mean, that's going to be acting as a real low. Problem is that this thing's had a fucking terrible time since 2022, when most things have been pretty much straight up since the bottom of 2022. So that's not a good sign in my book. But hey, if there ever was a time to reverse, this is it. You do have a higher low on the monthly in place. The real question is it going to hold? So, you can enter in wherever as long as you're okay with that risk. The risk is $24. Below $24, you're fucked. As long as you're above $24, I think that there's a real chance that this actually is a macro low. That just comes down to your preferences, man. Are you okay with that risk? Are you okay with that loss? Should you incur it? It's a $2 price action loss, or about, a little bit under 10%. That's up to you, man. I can't make the decision for you. Or at least you don't want to be having my preferences, because, we probably just don't align. All right, we got Chris Vela next. He's looking at MSTZ. All right, this is a 2x inverse MicroStrategy. I imagine this one's up big, and it is up big in the short term, but in the more medium term, but in the short term, it's about to go up big again. Yeah, I'd be looking for it to pop back up and fill this gap at 1440. It's honestly probably reversing into an uptrend, but same thing on this one. It's easy to be bullish on this because there's such a quick stop on this. Look, if you want to be bullish on this, you have a very obvious invalidation point, and that's just the price action pivot here at $11.50. As long as you're above there, just look for it to go up. I think that you will fill this gap and probably go higher. If you do violate this low, which is basically just yesterday's low, then I think that this is going to be your next, major lower high, and this thing comes back down, and that would actually be bullish for Bitcoin, or bullish for MicroStrategy, which is probably bullish for Bitcoin, right? So yeah. Anyways, Donut Angry, what's up, man? And thank you for that. You're from Argentina, I think. Pendle, shitcoin, daily and weekly, and we can look at that, man. That was a quite a big super chat, man. Pendle, I remember this one from a while ago. I forget what it looks like though, but this was really popular at some point in the cycle. See how it's done now. To be fair, it's not as bad as most shitcoins, which are at around all-time lows. But still, this is not great in and of itself. Just basically a dead investment for the past year since March of 2024. Not great, man. I probably wouldn't be fucking with this, man. I do think that you'll get another run at like $2 or so. Do you bounce there or not again? I don't know, but you do have 1, 2, 3 lower highs. So the downtrend is there. You got the same lows, over here. The bias is on a downside breakout for sure. The real question to me is do you get another bounce after hitting $2 again, or somewhere around $2? Something like this. Could it bounce up to like $3.30 or $3.50 and then come down? Maybe, but you're playing a game with fire right there. When you got these lower highs, in my experience, it's a lot better to be looking for the next lower high rather than trying to play the bounce, because at some point that very likely will break, especially when you see 3 lower highs in a row. Like that's it's usually 3 strikes and you're out, man. So there might be another lower high in there as well. It's very, very possible. I mean, this thing is, coming to the weekly 200 simple. So I really don't like getting bearish into that, because it can bounce so many fucking times before it actually breaks. But at some point, I do think that this one will break. I mean, this is objectively not good. The real question to me, again, is just, does it do it on this particular move? Because I could easily see a bounce, either this month or next month or sometime in Q1 of this coming year to a lower high at like $3.50 or even below 330, and then come down and actually fulfill the actual breakdown. So yeah, I don't know, man. If that's how you want to play it, that's how you want to play it. But I would personally want to be getting in on the overall trend. Anyways, you're also looking at XPEV. What's this? XPeng, the ping. Okay. I guess I've looked at it before. I don't remember it though. And I guess I marked off this line here. It must be a Gandalf line, because it ain't passing. At least not on closing base. I guess it did for 1 week right there, but no real continuation. I am inclined to say that it actually is reversing into an uptrend, though. Let's see what the monthly looks like. Oh, okay. That's where this was coming from. It's on the monthly, and it's also not correct. It should be over here. I don't see, again, this one's similar to another one that we saw earlier, in that if you're going to be looking for this thing to put in a lower high, this is exactly where you should be, or at least a rejection. This is exactly where you should be looking. I mean, it's right on the 55 EMA. What do our indicators look like? Is there anything that's obvious here? Not necessarily. Quarterly. I feel bad because I don't have a strong opinion on this one, man, but I don't want to give an analysis on some that I don't feel super strongly on. Can we find something that's super obvious though? I guess the obvious thing here is there is something that is indeed obvious, and it's this low at 16.13. As long as you're above there, you can make the argument that this is knocking on the door for a real breakout, but you need to see a closure above $25. And at that point, yeah, you're probably going to see a move towards, 35, 40. I mean, that's a big fucking move. But in general, I'm more inclined to say that ranges just continue on, because they can be there for a very, 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 very long time. And I would say that that's confirmed with very likely another retest down below $10 if it breaks this low at 16 and 13 cents. So, I guess you can kind of have a little bit of hope in right here. More often than not, I do see these things continue to range. So that would be more downside, to be fair. But hey, if it can close above $25, basically, I think that you got a big fucking breakout on your hands. But I'm just not seeing what I'd expect to see on like the monthly or the quarterly to feel very strongly about that. So that's why I'm kind of backing off here. I'm more inclined to say like a healthy amount of I don't know is probably the right answer here, because I just don't see the obvious thing. The only obvious thing is what I gave you earlier, and I don't feel like that's too helpful. And if I had to call it, it would be reject and come down and base again at those prior lows. But again, I don't feel that strongly about this. John T says daily, weekly, monthly on Arrow. Sure. Some random shitcoin, I believe, on, yes, Aerodrome Finance. I'm pretty sure fucking, what's his name? Jordan Belfort was showing this thing at some point in his movie. Let's see, daily, weekly, and monthly. Down, and down some more, sir. This is similar to that pendle chart. You got high number 1, lower high number 2, lower high number 3. What do you think comes next? Tell him what he's won. What have you won, sir? You've won the fucking dump chart of the day, baby. Shit on his face. Sorry. I'm not saying a shit on you, John T's face. I'm saying a shit on this stupid fucking chart, man. This is garbage. This is fucking garbage. This is significantly more likely to come back down to, a quarter than it is ever to get back above $2. Bad. It's fucking bad. It's really fucking bad. Like, the quarterly looks like this. I mean, fuck, the quarterly is below the last quarterly low. I mean, look, man, I think in Q1 of 2026, this thing it's coming down another 50% more. This is bad. Now, you're going to hate me if there's a bounce in between there, because maybe there might be a bounce to like 91 cents before that. It's possible. It doesn't really change the higher term time frame picture, but yeah, you might, at some point you're going to see bounces on everything, right? Nothing really moves in like a straight line, but I do think if you fast forward like 3 months or so, yeah, you're going to see somewhere down around 30 cents to 20 cents. Let's see, we got crypto daddy 42, or is it 420 and then 6? SE Limited, C Limited. This is, they make what? They make like memory products for computers. I'm pretty sure I've used some of them. They don't have a very good reputation, and I can see it on their chart too. Look, there might be a bounce at some point in December or January to like 148 to 150-ish region, but I do think that this is a swing high here, and you're going to swing back down and find a swing low. Hopefully it's a higher low at like 105 or so, but yeah, I think that this thing is going to be coming down. And, when I look at the quarterly, I don't think it's going to stop at 100. I do think you'll see a big fucking bounce at 100. Sorry, I apologize, Crypto Daddy. 420 and then 6. You're looking at a 4 on daily. You don't give a fuck about the quarterly. This one's also down. Hidden bearish divergence in the last lower high in a general downtrend. So that's not great. 4-hour time frame. Ebbs and flows here, but yeah, I'd be looking for this one to pop back down towards the low of this week, or the low of November, like 128 or so. I don't know. There very well might be a bounce at some point in this month of December, but I'm very much more inclined to say it's this thing's coming down generally over the next 3 to 6 months significantly. So something like that, man. Anyway, let's get over here to the regular chats. I haven't, or we just finished up all the super chats, so all good. Did you look at Tesla yet? No, we haven't. Let's go check it out. What do we have on Tesla? Again, full disclosure as always, I do own Tesla myself, so I am biased for sure. Whereas Tesla 450, we've been bullish on Tesla for a while, and I'm going to continue to be bullish, man. This is a higher low. It's beautiful. Higher low right at the yellow 21 EMA on the weekly time frame. I think this thing is poised to retest these highs that you saw from November and also September at about 475 to 480. And, it might not break out on this week or next week or even in December, but at some point between December and January, I would be looking for this thing to try a real breakout. Yeah, overall, very, very good. And again, it's not because anything's guaranteed, but you just have such a simple setup here. Where's your last higher low? Your last higher low is, 390. So as long as you're above 390, I'm happy to be bullish. I'm happy to hold. If you lose 390, okay. At that point, expect some, significant downside, perhaps all the way back down to 350 at least, and maybe even all the way back down to 300. But until then, I'm bullish and I'm looking higher, and, I actually would be expecting a breakout, maybe not this month, but either this month or January. But January may be a little more likely. All right, what else we got over here? Wait a second, hold on. I just read John T's message again on Arrow. Reclaim 80 cents. Can it reclaim 80 cents? I think it's possible to maybe get a test around there at some point in December. I don't know if you're going to be reclaiming it though, but that'd be a great place for the next lower high, to be honest, man. It really would. You got up to 75 cents this week, so that's pretty close anyways. Nobody cares. 424 says Oracle. I think this is ORCL. Yeah, Oracle. And then we'll get over to USAR, or actually BBAI. Wait, what is USAR? Sounds like some defense technology. I should get interested in that. Anyways, Oracle. The real question here is this the next higher low in what has been a monumental and generational uptrend chart since what, 86 or yeah, about 86 is its inception. I mean, this is a pretty exaggerated move to the downside. Let's just see. Yeah, it's 46%. That's fucking big. That's crazy. What was its last correction? 40%. Okay, so I guess it's not that crazy for this thing. What about in 2022? That was another 43% correction. Okay, so it does have a history of these 40% corrections, it looks like. This one over here, about 32%. Okay. All right, so it's not anything super out of the ordinary. It just looks nasty right now, I suppose. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, another 30% one right there. Anyways, I would give it a chance, kind of digging its heels at this $200 number. I don't think that is going to exactly be the low, but I do think it's going to be a process here where it kind of trades sideways on this low for a while and then tries a big rally back around $250 to $300 or sorry, maybe not $300, but 250 to like 270 region would look quite likely to me. Other than that, I think it's just going to take some time, man. This was a pretty nasty fucking crash style move, to be honest with you. So, let it play out for a while. Let it really dig in for a low. I wouldn't be rushing into a position here, because if it is going to be a low, it's going to be a process. I imagine it's going to take at least a month or two of going sideways here and then a big bounce. And it should get a big bounce regardless of whether it's bullish or bearish before heading lower, or if it's even going to head lower. And that's where I'd say, like your 250 to 270 target is super, super likely. And if you do want to be bullish from there, I think that there's good reason to believe to be bullish. But at the same time, man, quarterly is it is kind of ugly. Do we have divergence here too? We actually don't. So there's that. So at least there's that. So I don't know, maybe I'm being too conservative here, but ultimately I think that this has a good shot to be the next macro low. I just think it's going to take some time of going sideways, and that's okay. It's okay to take your time going sideways. It's actually a good thing. And then probably at some point, maybe later this month or January, you see that big bounce at least. And then really just don't want to see a rejection below like 250 especially. So yeah, I think it's just going to take some time here, man. What else do we have? USAR. What is this? USAR. Oh, it's rare earths. Okay. All right. Hidden bullish divergence on this current low on the weekly. I think this one is going to try up probably around this gap, low 20s, like 23 to $24 region. Yeah, not a tremendous fan of this sort of like pump and dump long term, but I do think that you have some upside here, at least in the short term. So I'd be going off of that. Very, very short term. I mean, there's going to be an ebb and a flow here, for the daily. It probably does pop back down to like $15 or so first, or $15.50, whatever that number is. Yeah, 15.5, I suppose. But ultimately, I think that this is a good place to base off of, for a decent low and play out that divergence and likely get up to, $23, $24, maybe even higher over time. But, that'd be kind of like a general area of interest I'd be having for some upside price action. You can also look at, what was it, BBAI. Yeah, so this one I actually did not end up investing in, but it does have a more constructive chart than the thing that I chose, which was Red Cat in its place. This one does have hidden bullish divergence on this current low as well. And, ultimately this does really look like a long-term reaccumulation formation. We're seeing, I guess I already have it in there. All right. Well, I guess I've already looked at this before, but, it's basically a descending triangle, and, your last higher low is perfectly aligned with that 550-ish region. So that is exactly where you'd be expecting it if this is going to play out. And that does have a measured move towards, $13 upon confirmation of a breakout, which needs to just close above $9. So overall, I think this thing's in a good position. And again, it's not like because it's a guarantee, but it's just because the invalidation is so obvious and so close, which is basically the low of November, which is $5.03. So as long as you're above there, I'm looking at this one as bullish. I'm looking at this one as likely to trade sideways and up, and pending confirmation of that breakout above about $9. I think that you got a big move, like a 50% move almost. To 14, 15 area, something like that, man. Crypto Daddy is looking at PayPal. I know it's bad, but how bad? Okay, it's a fun game to play as well. It's bad, but how bad? How bad actually is this? Anyways, PayPal, yeah, bad. As you know, it's very, very bad. Look, man, like how bad is it? Like, where do you want me to take that conversation? I mean, I would just be looking at, back down to these lows that you've seen from the past few years here. I think you're very likely to come back down to $55 or so, before going above, whatever this high is here at 95 anytime soon, or shit, even the price action pivot at, 79.5. Like, that's not great. Wait, what are all these damn messages I'm getting today? This is crazy, man. This is fucking crazy. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, cool. All right, whatever. Anyways, moving on from there. Thank you. Promise I'm not being literally. It's all good, man. It's all good. I feel like I'm pretty low energy today. I did not get a good night's sleep last night. I mistakenly drank one of Elsa's fucking energy drinks again. Terrible decision. Okay. Terrible fucking decision. I feel like I miss half my brain power whenever I do that, and like 70% of my energy just gets dumped out the next day. I don't know why I did it. I just need to go back and get my damn cold brews. The cold brews are the way to go. Don't get these fucking energy drinks. They're like crack cocaine. Okay. I don't know how the hell they are illegal, But somehow they are. Anyways, let's see. One moment. Caretaker laying down the law as always. Gotta love our caretaker, man. What's the estimated low for this move down on Bitcoin? Well, let me give you the exact estimated low to the exact penny price point. Sir, do you mean on like this current move? Well, let me get out my crystal ball. I'd be looking at some sort of something resembling a potential low at around, 86 to 86 and a half, something like that, man. Something like that, if this is going to play out. And that's a big if, but that'd probably happen over the weekend if it's going to happen, spike down here. And then hopefully, if it plays out, you'd see a quick reversal from there. And at that point, I'd say, yeah, this is a signal for the December bounce to really happen. And we should be looking for a move into the deep 90s. But until then, I mean, it is still a downtrend on pretty much every time from that mounted, which is kind of a problem here. But yeah, I do think you get somewhere down around there. Something like that, man. If you're talking about like very, very long term, which hopefully you're not, that's a big wild card because we just don't have enough information right now. I don't want to go that far out, like trying to guess things. That's a problem for tomorrow. But yeah, if you're in the short term, that's kind of the area that I'd be looking at as of right now. All right, what else we got? Bitcoin bar, since some pattern is back, is it? Was this a bar right here? Kind of, I guess. Not your traditional. This was more of a BART right here. This guy right here was a beautiful BART. That is your classic BART right there. This one right here that we saw from the last few days of November. C4 is great. Fuck you. How dare you? How dare you? I used to be addicted to these fucking pre-workouts so badly in college, man. It was insane. Like they had Jacked 3D and they had Mesomorph and there was No Explode and there was... Oh God, I don't even remember all of them, man. But these things should have been banned. Like they were definitely spiking them with something other than just caffeine. Because I can assure you that 1,3-dimethyl, whatever the fuck, that's got to be something resembling or something close to methamphetamine. Because my God, man, I was addicted to that for so long, and I couldn't understand why I felt like complete shit when I never, on the few days that I did not take it. I was taking that every fucking day for like 3 years, wondering why I'm sick all the time, wondering why I feel like shit all the time, wondering why I'm getting depressed at some points too. It's kind of crazy, man. Yeah, and there's some C4 there too. Do you still take creatine? Yeah, I got it right here. In fact, got my creatines right here. I found one that actually doesn't make me shit my pants. It's called creatine HCl. #1 absorbed creatine, in fact. Yeah. And weirdly enough, I don't find that this one adds the water weight as well. In fact, my weight just continues to go down, which I'm actually not very happy about. But cold brew, if you really use a lot of grounds, is strong as well. Oh yeah, for sure, man. It can be very, very strong. But I just think that the processing techniques of cold brew and just the fact that it's one ingredient, it's not like a million fucking ingredients like you see on a Celsius can or a C4 or any of these pre-workouts. It's just easier for my body to handle and it just doesn't like go fucking super haywire. Because yesterday I was fucking on one, man. I was fucking on it. Yesterday's video was really, really good. I'm feeling like everything's flowing. I'm working on all sorts of things. I built a table and a chair, all in the same day. I'm like, God damn, I'm so productive. I'm gonna fucking solve everything. I'm doing everything right now. Do you want to have a conversation? I want to have a conversation with everyone right now in the world. It was fun, man. But yeah, what goes up must come down, unfortunately. I don't notice. Yeah, I actually don't notice this one adding water weight because it's creatine HCl. If you do monohydrate, then it will add the water weight. But I don't know if that might not be a good thing because like adding the water weight, it has a lot of benefits in and of itself. Craze, I had that one too. Yeah, Craze. Oh, I believe it, man. Craze had meth in it. Yeah, I totally believe it because that's one of the ones that I was taking. I mean, look, I watch fucking Cops like almost every night, and I can tell you, those meth addicts, that was me. That was me for like 2 years in college, okay? I was taking these pre-workouts to party on. I wasn't even taking drugs anymore. I wasn't drinking alcohol. I didn't drink any alcohol for like years, okay? I just took these pre-workouts and we'd go party. And I swear it was way stronger than anything else anyone was fucking taking, man. Now I know why. It was actually methamphetamine. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I was literally a meth fucking addict. Holy shit. I need to rethink everything in my life and reverse all my decisions. What's up, Luffy? Hi, Mrs. Crown. Mrs. Crown? What the fuck? What the fuck did I just hear? Check KMNO. If we assume Bitcoin holds 84 to 86, where do you see KMNO holding support? If this is a random shitcoin, as you typically do suggest, Well, let's look at it first. Then we can go hard on it. Camino Finance. Yes. Welcome to Camino fucking Clone Finance. There is no fucking low for this thing. No fucking low. None. How do you have a low for something that only goes fucking down? I'm not yelling at you, Luffy. You're a very nice person. Very lovely avatar. This is a chart like, hey guys, if Bitcoin bottoms at $80,000, where do you think Hex is going to bottom? Caretaker says, remember kids, meth is for life, not just for Christmas. Indeed. Where's the bottom on Hex? Where's the bottom on Camino? I rest my case. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, as Elsa would say. How do you kill that which has no life, as South Park would say? How do you call a bottom for that which has no bottom? I don't know. I mean, look, it might try to bounce with Bitcoin. Maybe it tries to bounce at like 5.8 cents for 0.01 of a cent. I don't fucking know. I don't think it has like real upside from there. Whatever high you saw yesterday is probably gonna be your high for a long time. It has hidden bearish divergence on it. Unfortunately, yeah, I don't see it. You can do it. You can do it. And also don't do it. Yeah, I mean, I get more downside signals here than I do upside just because Bitcoin bought. Like, it's like saying, hey guys, I think SPY's gonna be going to the upside. You know, SPY's gonna be going to the upside here. What is I don't know what random shitcoin fucking stock is just down only. You know, when's that gonna go up? It's like it doesn't. It has there is not a correlation there. It's just bad. Just fucking bad. It's sad. It's a sad chart. It's very sad. Very sad indeed. All I want for Christmas is bounce. Bounce indeed. Meth and Fredemont. Meth for Christmas, Molly for New Year's. I think you should do Molly with your family at Christmas and then meth for New Year's with random people. I think that makes more sense. But hey, that's just me. It's been a while since I've done either of these. What about meth with your family? So like everyone takes meth? I don't think my dad should be taking meth, honestly.
What about Remy?
I also have a 3-year-old niece. She shouldn't be taking meth at that age. She should wait at least 20 years. Huh? She doesn't. Yeah, she also doesn't need it. I mean, have you ever met a 3-year-old? They are actually on methamphetamine, but just naturally. I mean, they literally have no limits to their energy. They just go at all hours of the day. It's actually insane. From fucking 6 a.m. to like 8 p.m. There's no stopping. There's no stopping a 3-year-old. They are the most, like, if there would be a way to harness the energy of a 3-year-old. That's what I want to do for my next fight. Guys, I need to find a way to harness the energy of a 3-year-old. It's the only way to have the perfect stamina. We need to hook these 3-year-olds up to some sort of like IV and harness their energy. We need to siphon off their energy. Give it to me. And give me the power of a crow. The energy of a 3-year-old and the power of a crow. That's me. Oh, fuck. Try 1,000 milligrams of Shilat. I think I produced that on my toilet this morning, sir. According to Tom Lee, we are in a super cycle, new all-time high 2026. I believe you. Contact Tom Lee at don'tdoit.com for refunds. I only drink crow. I only drink crow milk. Helps me fight like a crow. Crow's milk is legitimate. I also wear it with I also drink it with my kitten mittens. Great product idea. Oh, ATF has a great comment. Is there going to have another full-on alt season? Sadly, probably never will, unless another pandemic and free money in the market again. Actually, that comment turned out better than expected. It's a very reasonable take, honestly. Didn't Tom Lee show Litecoin at... I think you're thinking of Charlie Lee. I know they're confusing. Okay, this is very racist, sir, but Tom Lee is BMNR shitcoin, and Charlie Lee is Litecoin shitcoin. And Charlie Lee actually did sell his Litecoins at the top, and I think he actually told everyone he regrets ever making it as well. Something like that, man. Charlie Lee, Tom Lee, they look very similar. Absolutely. I'm not going to go further down this. In fact, the other day, my mom made a comment. She said, so you're not banned from YouTube for saying any racial? She was like trying to say racism, but like, she's just like, well, it seems kind of racial, or I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, Elsa used to say, ring, ring, hurrah, priest. I'm like, no, mom, you can actually say, oh, hello, please. Will you buy my shitty coin? Will you go to Shitty Walk with me? Will you buy right coin right now? It is a LOR. We do not know. Yes, please. I buy the right coin, shit coin. Please. Hi. Might need some more of that. Yeah, might need some more of that fucking phrase. Y'all getting more of that craze? Yeah, it's crazy. They used to sell that. Like, they actually used to sell that in stores. You could just go up to the GNC guy and he'd be like, yeah, bro, it's going to get you fucking jacked and give you the energy of the crows. Give you the energy of a 3-year-old. Man, I'm feeling fucking strong today. I feel like I got the energy of a 3-year-old. It's amazing. Waking the fuck up right now. It's a pretty good impression. Thanks, man. It is a me, Charlie Ree. Buy my shitcoin, sir, please. XRP is working with the central banks. I believe you. I just love saying that to people. Like, I believe you. Like, it's really the best response, like, to so many comments. Whenever Saint says something in the Discord, just, I believe you. Dump zillion to gazillion. I believe you. Can we check out SHLD ETF on the daily weekly? We can. I own it. So full disclosure, I do own this thing. I'm highly and heavily biased, but I actually do think it's top for a while. I think that this thing's entering into a long sideways correction, man. I should probably consider like dumping some of my own shares. Well, maybe it's not so bad. All right, I'm not dumping my shares, but I do think it's going to be sideways and sideways for a while, with the base somewhere around here at about 59 and a quarter. I just don't think it's going to be doing anything like super interesting to the upside anytime soon, unfortunately. Yes, amazing fundamentals. Biff the Bull is looking at SPY futures 4-hour daily. Let's check it out. Looked at the higher time frames earlier, but let's go to the lower. It's always difficult with SPY because when it goes into this sort of, like, if this was Bitcoin, I'd say this looks tired and like it wants to pull back, and there's probably some bearish divergence here. There is. So it probably does get a pullback. It's just, it's not going to be like a fucking reversal. You know, maybe it comes back down to like 68.35, maybe at most like 68.25, somewhere in that pocket. But when I go to the daily, I mean, objectively, this is still bullish on higher term timeframes. Like, I don't think the daily or the 4-hour matters that much, or at least it's not as important or as obvious what the weekly's telling you. The weekly's telling you to be bullish as long as you're above 6,800. So you can pull back anywhere between where you're at right now and 6,800, and that's fine. Below 6,800, okay, yeah, there's a real problem for a bigger reversal, you know, down to like 67, 30, maybe even 67 even. But for now, like, just let it do its ebb and its flow here. Right now, it wants to come back down a little bit. Just as long as it doesn't violate 68, I'm okay with that. I'm just looking at this as a basing point before trying to move probably to the prior highs, you know, later this month, something like that, man. What else we got, man? What else we got? Hey, all good, crypto daddies. Good to see you, man. Biff the Bull is back. He's looking at tether dominance. No time frame. Just checking in thoughts. Sure, we can look at it. I haven't looked at this one since last week. I know I have it on my list here. It is where? There it is, right in front of my face, but I'm fucking blind. I've got the energy of a 3-year-old, but the vision of a dog. Dogs don't have very good vision, apparently. I'm looking at this as a higher low, man. It is interesting to me. Like, if I want to kind of twist my head and find some bullish hopium, it is interesting to me that on November's closure did not close above the breakout point, which is 6.25 or just below. It's like 624. That was your April high of 2025. Because usually when these things break out, they push through like on that first one, but still, I would maintain a bullish bias on this one. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple sort of setup here because the invalidation is just so obvious, and it's basically yesterday's low. Yeah, yesterday's low or this week's low, which is about what 580 or so. As long as you're above there, it's up. You know, I look at this as a reversal in process, but technically not confirmed yet. It is in process, though, in my opinion. But if you take out this week's low, then I think you have a big fucking move to the downside. You know, back down to like 5.25 at least, and probably lower. But you know, I'm betting on the higher term timeframes here. I think the quarterly is also speaking as well, and it's just hard to ignore. So if I have to bet on a direction, it is going to be to the upside here. But if you want an invalidation point, it is this week's low, and that would be very significant if it does take it out by any you know stretch there. So yeah. Again, just as more people come to join in here, I should let you know it is the last day of our Black Friday sale. We're not going to have any more sales for this year. We won't do one for Christmas. We'll do one for the beginning of 2026. But the code is BLACKED20, blacked in all capitals and the number 20, just BLACKED20, exactly as you see right there in the teachable link in the description below for 20% off of literally anything, literally fucking anything on any payment plan or anything like that. And even on the monthly subscriptions too. Anyways, let's see what else we got here. Do we got any more good comments? We're only about an hour and 30 minutes in this bitch. I have a show idea. We have trained MMA fighters go to Raiders games wearing the opposite. Me and my friends used to joke about that as well. I'm actually a Raiders fan. Like, I mean, I don't really watch football. I don't really give a fuck. But it you know, if I am going to follow or support a team, it'd be the Raiders, I guess, just because that's who I watched growing up. But there's something about Raiders fans, man. They always say Raider Nation for life, but that's because it's well. that's because they really are dying. Fucking crazy, man. There's some sort of a interesting conversation going on. Views back to bear market. Yeah, man. What's up, Tom Crown? Good to see you, man. Good to see you indeed. Yeah, I mean, honestly, across my social media, and I think from a few other people that I've spoken to as well on YouTube, especially, views on YouTube have been going steadily down, you know, for a long time, and I can attest to that. You know, I'm gonna still be here no matter what, because, you know, at the end of the day, I need something to do. Like, I need something to fucking do. You know, I could retire right now if I want to, but it's, you know, I've done that before where I kind of like take it easy or take, you know, time off. And after like the first week of not really doing anything that feels like valuable, I don't know. It feels awful, man. Like, I think if I've ever felt depression, that was it. It just felt so empty. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? So it's like, you know, doing these YouTube videos and doing these YouTube streams for me, it's like, honestly, I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it actually does give my life purpose. You know, it's like I actually have something to, you know, focus on and do and work towards. Makes things fun, man. Makes things fun for me. At least that's how I see it right now. What's so spicy like the last 4 weeks and then it tanked this weekend? Yeah, a little bit. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. That's just the ebb and flow of YouTube. You know, I've seen it a million times now, but generally throughout this whole cycle, it was much lower for me compared to 2021. 2021 was a fucking crazy time, but you know, maybe it really was the pandemic. Maybe it really was people locked up in their homes and not able to move around. That was really propelling all of that, you know, hype and everything. I mean, I guess it was kind of like the perfect storm of just shit going on in the background that's, propelled, you know, YouTube to fucking ultimate heights. Anyways, the Vonyuk, I think, DYLLF. I'm guessing this is deep yellow stock. Okay, deep yellow, DYLLF. Okay, Oh, it trades OTC. This is not a stock. This is an OTC thing. Actually a good chart though. Actually a good chart. Maybe it's worth paying attention to. Long-term thoughts. When I see a chart like this might be one of the OTC fucking shitcoins that actually does work out. Overall good, especially as long as you're above about 94 cents, which you're well above right now. I'd just be generally bullish on it. I think you will have hidden bullish divergence or potential at least here between this point from July and this current low from November to December. But you need to close above about 117. And at that point, I'd be looking for this thing to pop up to like 140 and maybe just continue on with this mega rally long term. Overall, very, very good for, an OTC coin or an OTC stock. But again, you have a very easy invalidation point to get bearish on. Below the October low of 93 cents, I'd get bearish on this and look for a big move down to like 75 cents. That's a big fucking percentage move. But for right now, give it the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's been acting quite well. I would want to see where the monthly closes though, because if the monthly closes anywhere below $1, I'd get quite bearish on it just based off of that. But that's pretty far away. Still, you still got about 26 days. But below $1, big fucking problems. And it's not even $1. It's like, well, yeah, it is about $1. Yeah, below $1 at the end of December, I'd get very bearish on it. But until then, I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, go off of that. Robotic stock, SYM. Sure. I like looking at all these robotics and AI and just kind of tech stocks in general. Filled the gap over here on the daily. So probably short term does try a bit of a rally. Kind of a weird consolidation going on right here. But I do think that you have a rally back up to like 66, 67, 68, something like that. Other than that, don't know what to make out of the monthly here. It's kind of a weird one, but there's a very easy call to get extra quadrifacialidocious bearish. If you go back down below the fucking November lows, that's pretty far away to be fair, but I just feel like it's important to point out. But November low is $48.50. But personally, I think it's going to try for a bounce here and then continue on sideways for a while. I think it's kind of done doing something exciting for some time. Did you miss my super chat? I didn't miss your super chat. I saw it. It's just you didn't post anything there, so I wasn't able to read anything, sir. So if you could just post what you want to look at one more time, Giuseppe, that would be super helpful, and I can look at it right now. But yeah, I do see your super chat. I just don't see any message accompanying it. So just post whatever you wanted to post in it right now, and I'm watching the bottom of the chat, so I can pick you up ASAP right there. Yeah, it was a blank super chat. Yeah, Mr. Biff knows. Biff the bear knows. Can we get MYO for a reported super chat? What is? Oh, hold on. Well, I'm waiting for Giuseppe, but I don't know. Is it this thing? Yeah, another great fucking shitcoin. Wow, might as well have fucking USDT at the end of its name because it's literally a shitcoin. Oh, okay. We got Avo USDT. On WeX? Oh God. Okay. Sorry. It's probably better that your comment was never shown, to be honest. Sir. It's going down. Hidden bearish divergence in the last lower high right here. It's a down only chart. It doesn't even trade. Like you literally are probably the only person trading this. You realize like these gaps in price action are like, a day worth of no trades going on in this thing at all. Look, man, it's not good. Whatever it is, it's not good. You got hidden bearish divergence in that last lower high. As long as you're below basically 1 cent, I'd be extremely bearish on this. Above this high, just above 1 cent, then maybe you got to rally up to like 1.5 or 140 cent. But I think that's hopium, to be honest with you, man. It's pretty bad, pretty fucking bad. You wanted to sell, but didn't. Okay. You should have wanted to buy, but didn't. I wanted to buy, but didn't. Much better situation to be in. Sorry, man. We're not laughing at you. Elsa just said something really funny in the background that only me and her understand, unfortunately. But yeah, honestly, man, if if the best time to sell was yesterday, the second best time is now. Like, look, you might get bounces here and there, but this is garbage. This is fucking garbage, man. I don't know, what is this, avocados on the blockchain or some shit? Great. I believe that is going to be a great investment long term. Yeah, not good, sir. Not good. Anyways, what else we have? Love the moons on the LTI completes me. Yeah, man, we had to include that in there. As crazy as it sounds, it actually does add some edge, and I actually do use it for some purposes. I know it sounds fucking crazy, but it actually is a part of one of my strategies. It was kind of funny. Fair enough. Yes, AI trading agents on Solana. I think you're about 2 years late to that narrative, but I hope it works out for you, sir. I do. When gaming stream? I don't know. I still want to set up here a little bit more. Like, I have like the bare bones for a streaming cave working right now, but there's still so much work to do around this fucking house, man. Like, owning a home is just one long battle versus water and moisture is what I found out. So I'm dealing with a lot of that. But yeah, man, once I get all that settled up, then I think I will do some gaming streams, because they're really, really fun, man. They are really, really fun. Crown, am I just being stubborn, not selling Tau for Tesla? It's not stubborn, it's stupidity, actually. And I'm not calling you stupid. It's just a stupid move. So you're not stupid, but your actions redacted, sir, in the most lovingly of tones. But yeah, I mean, Tau for Tesla, I mean, for fuck's sake, man, okay. So I want to hold on to the thing that's about to go down only, and sell the thing that actually has a chance, that is actually in an uptrend and has a chance to continue up only. Wait a second. Hold on. Let's hold Tau. Yeah, I got the power of the crows and the energy of a 3-year-old, and I'm holding fucking Tau, losing all kinds of gains. And what are you doing, holding Tesla, making money? Bullshit. Fuck you. I don't mean fuck you, obviously, but you know what I mean. Anyways, Godblood says, can you check Solana short and long? Same as everything, just can't go below this week's low. Let's see. And thank you for that. Congrats on your marriage. Worst and best case scenarios. Well, the worst case scenario is that we divorce, and the best case scenario is that we don't divorce. So there it is. Maybe you're talking about Solana. So the worst case scenario is 0, and the best case scenario is infinity. Both of those are extremely unlikely to happen. When I look at Solana here, I do think at some point you're going to come down to like 110 again. But is that going to happen before a bounce? Oh, this thing wants to come down in the short term. Yeah, hidden bearish divergence on the daily. I think you're going to pop back down to like 125. If it does break down, then 110 is the area of interest. The question to me though is, are you just going to retest the low and then bounce, or do you actually break the low, come down to like 105 to 110? Sorry, it's actually more like 105. And then try for a bounce there. Either way, it's going down. That's kind of the ugly thing. At some point, it will get down around there. I'm nearly sure of it. But the question is, does it bounce first and then come down, or does it just come down from here? In the short term, you do have a downside move, but it could bounce one more time off of 122. So there is that possibility. So I wouldn't just say it's a foregone conclusion to get to that 105 number from exactly here without a bounce. But I do think at some point in the next month or two, you will see 105. The Von Yuck says MT stonk. Okay, long term. All right. I'm not exactly sure what exactly long term means to you, but I'm gonna go with a monthly and a quarterly. I think this one actually might be in the process of reversing here. So I see this as your sort of prior range high. You closed above there, and now you're actually even above the 200 simple on the monthly time frame. You have a higher low as well and a higher high, so you have a reversal. I think generally this thing's going to be pulled up to about 53-ish, low 50s in the next, I don't know, 6 months, but there's going to be a lot of ebbs and flows between there. I think in the short term, you probably even come closer back down to like $41. But overall, I actually think that this thing is putting in a reversal here and will at some point in the next like 3 to 6 months get around those mid to low $50 numbers. It's actually not terrible for a reversal here. You know, things are not looking good when Luna and Leo are going up. Wow, Leo, is that the Bitfinex coin? Remember that from way back now. Sequoia says HOA's maintenance taxes on an asset you haven't sold and isn't going up in value, but you'll learn to do things you never imagined. I'm now a plumber, fencer, and electric repair guy extraordinaire. Yeah, it does feel like that, but it's also pretty fun too. I go through many phases throughout the day. I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fucking work. And then like 2 hours later, I'm like, this is awesome. I do this every day, but I'm starting to now slowly be more like, actually, this is pretty awesome. But it is a lot of work as well. Anyways, John T says, if Tesla breaks out, how to TA the top? You don't. You just get out of its way, man. You don't try to be a fucking hero dummy trying to guess the top, man. I mean, if you want to guess the top, wait for some bearish divergences. But the biggest mistake that people make is trying to call the end of a trending move before you have objective signals for that. So divergence is a decent way, but nothing's going to be perfect, man. The best way is just get out of its fucking way until you see something that's obvious, whether it be an obvious reversal pattern or a divergence call on a TA indicator. These sort of things can be useful, but ultimately it's going to be some waiting for that. So I wouldn't be even thinking about calling a top or anything like that until it's actually like in all-time high breakout mode, and we see like maybe like one massive girthy bearish engulfing dildo, and then that's on bearish divergence. If I see something like that and it's like 3 drives of weekly bearish divergence, okay, that's definitely a top. Is it going to be a macro top for forever? I don't know, but it's probably going to have a sizable pullback from there. So that's worthy to trade around, in my opinion. But yeah, man, I wouldn't try to get too cute with it. Do you think mean reversion on HPDR, probable cycle, dead cat bounce? I mean, that's exactly what I've been kind of alluding to over the past week as my personal opinion as to, the likely trajectory. Yeah, that is my opinion. Is it exactly going to work out like that? I don't know. But what I do know is that the test of the median is extremely, extremely, extremely likely. So that part is just straight up fact or straight up information. The rest of it is just my opinion. It's a part-time job maintaining your crib. Yeah, it really is, man. It really is. If you're a 4-year believer, if you're a 4-year believer, then yeah. I mean, if you're a 4-year believer, you just kind of believe that any bounce right now is a dead cat bounce. So would that correlate with the HPDR? I mean, it plays hand in hand with that. Sure. Yeah. Sorry, I'm late. Did Crown say full moon giga long? Yes, on the inverse chart. No, kidding, man. No, it's a little more nuanced, with the short and medium term time frames kind of being obtuse of each other right now. Andy says, I'm grateful to hear your thoughts on Chainlink. It's been one of the better performing shitcoins. I respectfully disagree with that. It's, in my opinion, not really better nor worse than, I think it's kind of like the average mediocre shitcoin chart. Good shitcoin charts have made new highs this cycle. Bad shitcoin charts have not made new highs, and this one hasn't made new highs, and the worst ones have just made new lows the whole way through. Look, I think it's going to bounce here again. I don't think you're going to break the 200 simple on this current pass, but yeah, probably at least one more bounce. But it's bounced so many times off the same level, once, twice, thrice, 4, 5, 6. I mean, at some point you kind of wear out your welcome and you just break down. And it's been there so many damn times. Like, that's not a good sign. But I mean, I'll continue to call a bounce off of this number until proven otherwise, because it happens so often, man. It really does. Let's see. You missed Tesla at 300. Now you buy the cup and handle breakout target 650-ish. Oh, you're talking to Meta. Actually did buy Meta, or sorry, not Meta, but I wish I bought Meta, honestly, as well. But I did buy Tesla a little bit below 300, which I'm quite happy about. Can we go over the hopium, please, Sir Crown? The hopium is that Bitcoin just bounces right here to new all-time highs and never stops ever fucking again. And then we're all rich, but still miserable, because apparently people were still pretty damn mad, even with Bitcoin at $100,000. We didn't know how blessed we were. We didn't know how lucky we were. We didn't appreciate Bitcoin being above $100,000 for like 6 months. No one gave a fuck. It's crazy, man. Thanks for that free setter. Appreciate it, man. What's up? Says Money. What's up, man? Meta short term, sir? Yeah, let's look at it. I like looking at the stonks, the old stonksers. We'll probably shut it off after this one too. Yeah, it looks to me like another higher low. Again, good mover, hidden bullish divergence as well. On a higher low, monthly even has hidden bullish divergence. Has the potential here if it closes here or higher by the end of December. Dare I say, this is probably your next higher low at $600. Pretty good. Probably looking for it to move up to the 700 to 725 region. Long term, quarterly is kind of weird here, though. I will say, like, that is a little bit bizarre and not as obviously bullish looking to me. In fact, if anything, it's kind of ugly. Yearly, it's okay. Yeah, I generally think you're going to bounce higher from here, somewhere into the low 700s, something like that, man. All right, we'll end it on MicroStrategy. We'll end it on MicroStrategy. I do love the new North American friendly stream times. Always appreciate them, man. Yeah, I've really been enjoying it as well, and I hope that the new time zone works out for people. But yeah, MicroStrategy. We'll end on this one and then call it a day. I feel like my whole brain has just been like 60% off today. MicroStrategy, again, overall, this is not good, but it is in a bounce area. So I don't think you're really going lower than where you're at right now for the month of December. If you do, then 142 is the obvious area, but whether the low is like 152 or 142, I don't think it matters, man. The majority of the moves already been had from 450 all the way down to below 200. We've been bearish for the majority of this move. I think now, over these next few weeks, should be looking for this thing to kind of dig in here and play out this LARP line. Maybe there's another retest lower, maybe slightly lower. I just don't think you're going to be like severely breaking down. I think that you got a big bounce here into the mid or low 200s, like 220 to 250 region. And then if it's going to head down after that, maybe it happens after that point. But this is a bottoming area, in my opinion, for a local low. Now it's a local low and a swing low within the context of a downtrend. So, bias has to be on this thing putting in a lower high. But give it some time here, because it's really been like basically 6 months of straight down since July. So 5 months of straight down since July. Like, pretty ugly, man. So what's a few weeks or even a couple months of a bounce followed by maybe more downside like much later on, something like that, man. But of course we'll update it on it, as time goes onwards and forwards, because there's always a chance for like a real reversal too. But yeah, we'll end things right there. As always, want to wish everyone the best of the best. Been a nice little fun stream. It's a pleasure as always on a nice Friday morning, a very cold morning over here. But we'll be back on Monday with another live stream. Hopefully I just won't drink Elsa's Celsius and retain my brain abilities. And I'm really aiming for on Saturday to work deeply and potentially even finish, although it's still pretty far off. But I think I might be able to finish it tomorrow. Another long-term nerdy-ass financial literacy and history video, because it's a topic that I'm very interested in myself. And this next video, I think, just plays really well with the thread of topics that we've been going over in that series. And I think if you've been interested in that series, this next one's going to be like super, 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 super interesting, just because it plays hand in hand with everything. And it's just so fucking relevant right now. And hopefully it can help us all make a shit ton of money, most importantly. So yeah, anyways, other than that, wishing you the best of us as always. Take care. Much love. Special thank you to all of our lovely